Hi, I'm Seamless, and today is Tuesday, which means it's time for a new FL Basics tutorial. This one is going to be on the Granulizer. So, what is granulizing, and what are grains? Well, grains are basically little tiny chops of a piece in pieces of an original WAV file that are played and looped and basically screwed with in various ways. And granulizing is the act of screwing with grains. That's the technical term. To demonstrate this, I'm going to load a sample into the Granulizer. Let's load up some voice.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Go to the sample window, click and drag. You can also just open it on the window. That kind of thing. It's pretty straightforward. The Granulizer is built into a channel settings window as it's a pretty old plugin. I first remember seeing it being used in FL4's demo file, My Body, I think is what that's called. And it's kind of a neat track. I haven't listened to it in a while, actually. I should go check it out. And so should you, because it's nice. I believe it's still in there. So.
Oh, yeah.
Right off the bat, the granulizing is set up in such a way that the audio is played back in its original way. So it is actually granulizing it, but it's arranged in a way that's indistinguishable from the original playback. Changing that, you screw with these four knobs. This is the granulizing that we're talking about, screwing with grains. So, what do these four knobs do? The first one we have is Tack Time. Now, it's called Tack Time, in which we think of attack as being the ramp up motion from in the beginning of the sample. But what attack time actually means in this instance is it's attack and decay time. So it's basically attack and release of each individual grain. The grain size is not changed by this, and it's not factored into that either. It's added. The attack and decay is added onto each grain. So
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
of course, I have set grain spacing and wave spacing to be its correct location, so it's not going to do anything yet. But we'll see what that does. And the hold knob changes the length of each individual grain. The grain spacing changes the spacing between each grain, and the wave spacing determines how many grains there are per any given amount of time in the wave file. So there being more grains and the same spacing and hold settings actually nets you slower playback, and if you go beyond into negative values, you actually get reverse playback.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or faster playback.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's how attack functions.
Oh, yeah.
And good fun can be had. That's pretty much the entire basis of granulizing right there. These four knobs. It's more or less entirely what's up with that. Anytime you see any kind of granulizer, it's usually based on the same premise. It'll just be messed with in different ways. Some additional ways that you can mess with things includes this next section, the effects section. The neatest thing I think about this effects section is the panning ability. And what this basically does is it switches panning from left to right, or right to left, I don't actually know which, of each individual grain. So if you have, lots and lots of grains of something that was originally a mono file.
Oh, yeah.
It can suddenly be very spacious.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it can be kind of odd, but I like it. Then we have effects depth and effects speed. What is that? It's basically an LFO that controls the wave spacing to automatically do some cool, interesting effects. And that's more or less just messing with this knob. So that is more like an automatic method of doing something that you can probably just do yourself through automation, which I tend to do. And then in randomization, we'll pick, it'll change up the order of grains.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
More randomness will basically only play non-consecutive pieces of grains. A lower value will do so less and sort of just introduce tiny bits of randomness. Transients. So what the transients mean, what this means when it says transients, it means that it can be aware of transients in something like a drum loop, and it'll actually arrange the granulizing to align with transients so that the hits of a kick and a snare and some hats will always be present, as opposed to falling between grains and then having that attack gone. So if you're messing with drum loops or something, then this should help you in that regard. You can also use regions. So if you have drawn regions from something like Edison or a drum loop, then you can use that. And then there's detection, which it tries to find where the transients are. In this particular sample, there's not much use for that. But if you do want to mess with things like drum loops or things like a snare that have really defined transients, this is what you need to use. If you want them. Over here we have time, where we can set looping.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Which is handy for when you're messing with a sample and you tend to, increase its speed on the fly and do all kinds of other things. It may end before you want it to, so having looping is handy. You can also have a hold, where it'll loop whatever particular grain it's on at the time when you're holding it. And so that's cool. This can be automated. This is the start position wheel, which determines the start position of the wave file, which can also be automated, which is nice. Not only that, but you can go to the key to section, which determines what the keys are actually doing. By default, it's pitch. And then we have percentage, where if we go to the piano roll, we can actually see that the start time is laid out between C5 and C7. This is actually something that was utilized quite heavily in the My Body track in FL4's demo file. And the cool stuff, let's actually go see what's there. Should be in there. The demo track is still in there. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? I forget the name of the people that made it. There it is. Right there. That one. So check that out for yourself, and you should find cool stuff. You can also set it to start via song time, and also set it to key to transients. So if you set your regions and transients, then each step that you hit, each key that you hit will actually be a new transient. That's when it'll determine the start time is. So for playing drum loops and stuff, that's pretty handy. And that's more or less it. Apart from doing it because I haven't yet about the granulizer, I'm also doing it because on Friday, this week's How to Bass is going to be about granulizing basses. Because I have done that quite a bit in songs that you haven't heard yet. And I've been sitting on it for a long time, and I have been holding off on talking about this because the songs aren't out yet, but it's been too long, and now I want to talk about them, so I'm going to. So when that happens, it'll be very interesting. So keep that in mind for when Friday comes around. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know. And as usual, have a nice day.